man from Swindon's appealing for help in finding out more about Coleshill House on the Oxfordshire-Wiltshire border. The manor house in the village of Highworth was used during the Second World War to train resistance fighters in case the Germans ever managed to invade. While the house itself is no longer standing, Tom Sykes believes there's lots to learn about its wartime past. He came in earlier and explained why he thinks the house was so important.
Well, Coleshill was a secret headquarters. Churchill wanted to set up an underground army if we were invaded by the Germans. And this was called the Auxiliary Unit, set up by Colonel Gubbins and a gentleman called Peter Fleming, who was Ian Fleming's brother, the author.
So Colonel Gubbins?
Colonel Gubbins.
That was really his name?
It was really
Gubbins.
his name, Gubbins, yeah. So they set up this auxiliary unit, and they were based all over the country, and they had local divisions, and they were made up of members of the Home Guard, local landowners, anyone that had key skills. And the idea being that if we were invaded, they would at night come out and cause as much disruption to the Germans as possible, and they'd blow up ammo dumps, railway lines and things like that. So they would go to Coleshill for weekend courses, and there they would learn a whole host of different skills.
What skills were they taught then?
Oh, they would learn guerrilla warfare, sabotage, silent killing. They learned how to build underground bunkers. They learned how to use a whole range of weapons, from grenades and different guns, and they were far more highly trained than your average Second World War infantryman.
Well, yeah, I would never associate the Home Guard with doing that kind of thing.
Well, they were the elite part of the Home Guard, and it was they go in Home Guard uniforms, but it was very hush-hush.
We've got a couple of pictures to have a look at. Explain what this one is.
That's actually what would have been Coleshill House. It's the foundations of the house, and where you see the dips in the hedges is where the windows would have been. It's one half of the house, and sadly the house itself burnt down in the early 50s.
And we've got a picture of the bunker.
Yes.
Which looks particularly grim now. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, the auxiliary units would have stayed in these bunkers for maybe up to 2 weeks, and this was a training bunker that was set up. And it had an escape hatch and a very ingenious way of getting in, which was again secret.
So very briefly, explain how people can help you with your research.
Well, we're looking for two types of people really. We're looking for any local historians or anybody that's got an interest in the area, and also anyone that might have served there, or any family members that would know anyone that had served there.
It sounds like you've got a fascinating past, so Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
Life-changing moments.